One of my favorite things in the world to do is watch Friends. I know it's been off for years and years. It's not even around, but I still find myself binge watching old episodes. And I was thinking about this today and thinking, it's the predictability of the friends in the circle, right? You have Chandler with his quirkiness, Monica with her type A of just everything has to be so neat and tidy and organized. It's Phoebe's ability to make you laugh at her silly songs. Ross always comes in with those smart comments, and Joey and him and his food, like it is just so hilarious. And of course, Rachel, she just brings everybody together, and it's just such this beautiful, cohesive team of people. And it's why I wanted to come on and share with you today that I have an opportunity for you to find your friends in the content creation space. So if you are thinking about creating your first or your next digital course, I don't want you to miss this opportunity because Amy Porterfield just opened the doors for registration for her Course Confident Bootcamp. And I'm actually offering a special bonus for anyone that registers for the Course Confident Bootcamp through my special link. So I want you to go to krystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp to register. That's krystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp. And what you're going to find when you get there is I have this special bonus private podcast series. It's called Money Mindset for Creators. So I want you to go register for Amy's bootcamp, download the podcast, and immediately start listening to it, because what this training is set up to do is to help you get your mind right about monetizing your content, making money so that you can fuel your content creation dreams. So go to krystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp to register for Course Confident. And I cannot wait for you to find your friends and find the people that will be there for you. Do you see what I did there? Yeah, nice little friends segue connection. Go to krystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp. And I cannot wait to see you inside. Okay, let's get into today's episode. Hello. Oh my goodness. It's been a while since I did a bonus episode. And today is Thanksgiving in the US. And I wanted to share with you something I've done for the last few years, and that's talking about gratitude and what gratitude looks like for me and what it could look like for you if you don't have a gratitude practice in your life. And I'm going to share with you some of the things I'm most thankful for this year. So let's get right to it. Welcome to the Profit Podcast, where we teach entrepreneurs how to start, launch, and market their podcast. I'm your host, Krystal Profit, and I'm so excited that you're here. Thanks for hanging out with me today, because if you've been trying to figure out the world of podcasting, think of this show as the time-saving shortcut you've been looking for. So let's get right to it, shall we? Okay, so like I said in the beginning, if you're in the US, it is likely that you are celebrating Thanksgiving today. So instead of putting out a regular episode, I really wanted to focus on gratitude, right? It's all about Thanksgiving. And if you are outside the US, then I hope that you find this episode as a little bit of a refresher from our usual, this is how you get a podcast and this is how you have to do this, and always teaching and learning. And, hopefully you listen to this show to get a little bit of inspiration and motivation to get your podcast off the ground. But at the end of the day, the thing that I turn to most often is gratitude. So I have a gratitude practice that I've been doing for, I think I've been doing it for 5, maybe 6 years now. And I have, if you don't already know this about me, I'm a writer. I recently published a book, Start a Binge-Worthy Podcast, but before that, I am a journaler. I love to journal. This is something I do every single morning. I wake up and I pull out my notebook and I start writing. Sometimes it's just a brain dump of what's going on in my head. Other times it's actually a strategy session for me to plan out something in my business. Or if you did not know this and you're on my email list, then maybe you'll find this really interesting. I actually handwrite all of my emails that I send to my email list. Yes, like what you read whenever you get my email every Friday is something that originated in a handwritten message in my journal. This is how I've done my emails since I got started. I handwrite them every single week, every Friday morning, and then I send it on Friday. So there's a little behind the scenes for this episode. But after I do my journal work, I go to my gratitude journal. And for a long time, I just did 3 gratitudes every single day. And I literally put the date at the top of the page, or I have a journal that will keep about 3 years. So this is real crazy. But I had one journal for 3 years. And then I started a new journal last year. Yeah, last year I started a new one. And I think that it is about the same size. So it will probably last for about 3 years. And I have to tell you, this is one of the most treasured possessions that I have, because I can go back to my gratitude journal from August 2017 and see the gratitudes that I have whenever I took my journal and my husband and I went to Colombia. One of my best friends in the world, she was actually our exchange student whenever I was in high school, my senior year. She lives in Colombia. She got married in Colombia. And I'm like, man, this journal, like it's gone international. It was like so cool to have that. There's coffee stains all over this thing. It's not cute whatsoever. Like it's very ratty. It was actually something that a friend of mine gave to me. So it's like extra special, this gratitude journal that I had. And I love thumbing through it and seeing, oh, like that day I was grateful that we made it safely to our hotel. And I was grateful that I got to hug everybody's necks while, we were there, people I hadn't seen in probably a decade, members of her family that, they live in Colombia and they don't come to the US often. And so being able to see them, I was extremely grateful for that. So in looking back, a gratitude journal can serve so many purposes, but I challenge you, if you do not already have a gratitude practice, to do something similar to what I do. So I started telling you earlier. So I would write the date at the top of the page, and I literally write out the words, today I'm grateful for, and then I will put bullet points underneath. Now, this has a very different impact than if I were to just put the date at the top and then list out like 3 to 5 bullet points. It is very different. Like writing the words, today I'm grateful for, forces me to focus on my gratitudes. Where if I just saw the page and there's a date, I'm kind of blanking. Like, what should I actually write? Like, what is this about? But I get more centered in gratitude when I actually write those words. And then I will write some of the craziest things, right? I'll say I'm grateful for a hot, fresh cup of coffee. I'm grateful for my fur babies snuggling with me in the morning. I'm grateful for a healthy family. I'm grateful for going on vacation soon, or I'm grateful for having electricity and running water. Like it changes from season to season, day to day on what my gratitudes are. But every single day I ground myself in gratitude. And so the other practice I wanted to share with you is if you're thinking, well, this sounds easy enough, I could do it. I would challenge you even more to do this with your family. We started doing this with our kids where they have to share one thing, like the best part of the day. If they had a worst part of the day and they want to talk about it at the dinner table, we talk about that. And then we share our 3 gratitudes. And it's so fun to see the kids. So my kids are 11, 8, and 4. And I love hearing their gratitudes that they share. And it helps them kind of wrap their head around the perspective of gratitude. And it's funny because one time somebody said it wrong and it sounded like they said rat toots. So, and I have 3 boys. And so yeah, we'll say, okay, well, what are your 3 rat toots? So we'll say that sometimes. But they have like really, I want to say, embraced the idea of gratitude. And if they can't think of anything, they will literally look down at their utensils and say, I'm grateful for spoons. I'm like, yeah, spoons are pretty awesome, right? Or I'm grateful for clean water. I'm grateful for, I got to play with my friends today at school, or I'm grateful that we have a basketball to play basketball on the weekends. And, it really just kind of takes everything out of perspective from like the hustle and grind of every single day. And like, we're all just living our lives and like moving through life this way, very busy, to, man, we have so much to be grateful for. One of the things that I always say is like, food in our bellies and a roof over our heads. So I share all this with you today to hopefully inspire you to adopt a gratitude practice in your life and in your family, because I feel like it's been one of those things that absolutely changed my life. It helps me change my perspective when I have a bad day. I can say, man, I am so grateful. Like, yeah, my computer crashed or the internet went down or, whatever else happened. My Amazon package didn't get here. Okay, first world problem, right? But if I can say, man, like my kids have a bed to sleep in tonight, I'm so grateful for that. Or, my husband has a job in the middle of the pandemic. I am so grateful for that. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode today. I just wanted to share a little bit of a personal touch on this day of giving thanks. And I hope that you adopt a gratitude practice in your life. And I just wish you all the best. And as always, remember, keep it up. We all have to start somewhere. Hey, Profit Podcast listeners, thanks for sticking around to a little bit after the episode to hear this special message, because I want to hear from you. We are starting a new segment called Fan Mail Shoutouts, and I want to hear from you, and I want to hear your questions. What do you want to know? What questions have you been dying to ask me? So here's how to make this happen. Go to the app where you're listening to this podcast right now. Go there. I'll wait a second. Okay. Now, once you're there, you're going to see a hyperlink at the top of the episode description that says, send Krystal a text message. And that's all I want you to do. Send me a text. It could be casual, informal. It could be totally anonymous. Or if you want, you can include your name and the name of your podcast or content wherever you are creating, and I will give you a special shout out in an upcoming episode. So again, go to the show notes for where you're listening to this episode right now, and it will say, send Krystal a text message. And I cannot wait to hear from you and give you a shout out in an upcoming segment of Fan Mail Shoutouts.